Welcome to my race preview of the 2013 Bahrain Grand Prix. My name is Arava, and so today we'll be previewing the Bahrain Grand Prix coming up in a few days' time. It's only been a few days since the Chinese Grand Prix ended, and obviously Fernando Alonso won that race. Very good win for him, and Ferrari seem like they have a very good car in terms of pace. Maybe not in one lap, but definitely on pace they have a very good car indeed, and Bahrain has been kind to them. So let's just look back over the Chinese Grand Prix quickly and maybe what that will mean for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Obviously, the biggest talking point, which I'll be talking about right now, is the tyre allocations. And in China, the tyres were a very aggressive choice. You know, the soft tyre was definitely a qualifying tyre, sort of. It only lasted for a good 5 laps, maybe 8 laps if you pushed and really just took care of them. But really, it wasn't good enough, and it degraded so fast that we only saw people using it for 5 laps at the beginning, and obviously Sebastian Vettel and Jenson Button used it at the very end for 5 laps. So this time round we have some news midweek that Pirelli have announced that they're switching the soft tyre for the medium tyre. So now the medium tyre will become the option, tyre of choice, and the prime tyre will become the hard tyre. So originally it was going to be soft and medium like China, but now it's medium and hard. And Pirelli actually denying that this was because of the Chinese criticism. They were saying that actually they made the decision before China, and the teams actually knew that this was going to happen. So maybe this is true, maybe not. Maybe we'll hear some things from the teams. Maybe they can clarify sometime towards the Grand Prix. So what would this mean? Well, obviously in Bahrain it's very, very hot and very dusty. So I think this is going to be good, because definitely those soft tyres I think probably would have definitely disintegrated within 2 or 3 laps. So a very good decision, I feel, by Pirelli to swap that out, and it should give us some still good racing, because the medium tyre will still degrade quite well. I think it will probably be about maybe 15 to 18 laps on the medium tyre and maybe about 30 laps on the hard tyre. So we might see maybe 2 stops working, or maybe if some teams are degrading their tyres so much, then maybe a 3 stop. But yeah, it's probably a 2 stop for most. So let's look at the odds for the Grand Prix. Now, Sebastian Vettel is favourite to both pole position and the race win. From the Sky Bet, Sebastian Vettel is 11 to 8 to get pole position, and the race victory 23 to 10, which is very good odds for him. And in second place odds is Fernando Alonso, last week's winner, with second favourite 5 to 2 to win, and Kimi Raikkonen in third with a 7 to 2. So this is looking quite what I was predicting as well, because I think Sebastian Vettel does like that track. The Red Bull suits that track. Obviously last year Sebastian Vettel got that pole, so I guess talking about Sebastian Vettel, we'll move on to the whole Red Bull and how they'll do in that race. So yes, as I said, Sebastian Vettel got the pole last year, and it was a very nice pole, and he came through to win. Obviously he just didn't get overtaken by Kimi Raikkonen. Kimi Raikkonen had one chance last year, but this year I think if Kimi does get that opportunity again, he will take it this time. I think he's learned that he can be a bit more aggressive, because definitely throughout the 2012 season he was getting more and more aggressive. I think at the beginning he was being a tiny bit cautious just to make sure that he finished those races, but he has been the only consistent man really to finish every single race, so that's very good for him. So yeah, so Red Bull, they've got a good car. I mean, obviously they were struggling at China a bit on one lap pace and also race pace, but I think that was mainly to do with mostly the tyres and also the way China, behaves. Usually China is a front-loaded track, and Red Bull is generally good on both sides, but they're not really favourites. Whereas Mercedes, a team like that, they do cater for front-wielding tracks, but they're very poor on the rears. I think Bahrain will be a bit more of a rear track, because you've got those dusty, big wide apexes, so you're going to have to get great traction off from the rear. So the Red Bulls might perform well there like they did last year. And obviously, the cars are pretty much the same, so if we're going on that basis, Red Bull are looking very strong. Mark Webber, he's going to have a much better weekend. Dismal weekend for him, really, last time in China. I feel very sorry for him, because, he is really one of the honest guys in Formula 1, one of the nicer guys in Formula 1, and I want to see him do well there in Bahrain, obviously, and also probably want to get one over on Sebastian Vettel. So moving on to the race winners, Ferrari and Fernando Alonso. Ferrari having good race pace in China, and in Bahrain they didn't do too badly last year. Obviously that car was inferior the whole season, but they did okay relative to what their car was like. And Fernando Alonso last weekend looked absolutely dominant. The team had to tell him to stop pushing, so I think he has got more in him. And Ferrari have been, liking Bahrain over the past few years. Ferrari have always won so many races at Bahrain. Out of the 8 races we've had at Bahrain, Ferrari have, I think Fernando Alonso has won 5 of them, and 2 of them were in a Renault. And Ferrari have picked up the constructors title, the constructors trophy, sorry, at Bahrain 4 times. So a Ferrari car has won the race 4 times out of the 8 that it's been on for. So Ferrari looking very good indeed. Felipe Massa, well, obviously he got drowned out by the tyre choice at the beginning of the Chinese Grand Prix. He went too long on them, so maybe him and Ferrari are going to have to think over how they play the strategy, play a bit more safe. But Ferrari looking very, very good indeed. I wouldn't put it past Fernando Alonso getting the win again, but Sebastian Vettel again will be there, and he does like Bahrain, I think, looking at last year. So moving on to McLaren. McLaren improved quite a lot in China, and it was looking very good. Obviously, Jenson Button with that brilliant 5th place. Brilliant call to do a 2-stop because they wouldn't have got there otherwise. So they're still going to have to make some bold moves in terms of strategy, but they are improving. And as I said in my McLaren in-depth video 2 or 3 weeks ago, they are improving that car. They're trying to put it in the sweet spot because it is not a bad car. They just need to make it work how they want it to. And Sergio Perez, well, he's been told to toughen up by Martin Whitmarsh. I definitely think that needs to be done. He does let people pass too easily. So moving on to Mercedes, the race pace wasn't there. Ross Brawn said at the end of the race to Hamilton they're going to try and improve more. Mercedes had an okay race. Marcus Schumacher didn't really have an okay race last year in Bahrain, and he after the Bahrain Grand Prix, he was the one who spoke out about the Pirelli tyres being, saying that this is not racing, this is just coasting around. So Mercedes, Bahrain, not a very amazing track for them, but well, they're improving, and obviously they're much better than they were last year. So moving on to Toro Rosso, I wanted to talk about Daniel Ricciardo doing a very good job in that Toro Rosso, I think out-qualifying, outperforming it, because Verne was low down the pack. So Ricciardo's going to want another good race. He also qualified in 6th place here last year, 2012. So he'll be looking for another good one like that. And if he can do the same sort of start he did in China and not drop all the way down to 16th, which he did last year from 6th, if he can get a good aggressive start off the line, if he makes into Q3, I think he'll be on for some good points. I think he's putting himself in a good shopping window to take Mark Webber's seat when and if Mark Webber leaves Red Bull at some point at the end of this year, or maybe in the next 1 year or so. So moving on to Sauber. Sauber, okay. Obviously, Gutierrez has that penalty. Mark Webber also has a 3 grid place penalty on qualifying. Very unfortunate for him. But yeah, Gutierrez has that 5 place penalty. So very bad lack of judgment, really, when he crashed into Sutil. So very deserved. And Hulkenberg, the strategy didn't really work. He did lead the race in China, so that's a good thing. Sauber have led 2 races so far. Wait, no, sorry, not 2 races, 1 race, sorry, I'm thinking of Sutil in Australia. But yeah, it does show that Force India and Sauber have both led a race. So these tyres are really giving us some nice strategy variations. Force India now, Sutil will have to do much better, obviously, he got crashed out. But, he was looking okay. Paul di Resta got some good points, but obviously he had to drop back and lose a few at the very end of the Chinese Grand Prix due to his strategy. So the Force India's looking good. They're going to have to still work on their tyre management, I think, because their strategy is a bit kind of, let's say, restricted in a way. So moving on to Marussia and Caterham. Marussia having upper hand on Caterham. Heikki Kovalainen comes in at Caterham for the Friday practice FP1, which is very surprising, maybe undermining Charles Pic and Van der Garde, saying, really they don't have enough experience. Kovalainen's going to really bring out the pace. Caterham maybe feeling that Pic and Van der Garde aren't really showing the true potential of that car. So, very good to see Kovalainen back. Obviously, he was probably doing nothing and just sitting at home playing some golf, as he likes to do often. So he said he's very happy to come back. So it's nice to see him back in Formula 1 for at least a few practice sessions. Marussia, Jules Bianchi still outperforming that Marussia very well. And I think he's going to have another stunner of a race. And last time out he finished in 15th, I think it was. So I really think he's on for some, maybe a point or 2 sometime in the season. Sometime. Maybe not Bahrain, maybe, in Singapore. Singapore last year they did very well. But we'll have to see. Marussia again, probably going to outscore Caterham once again. Williams, another bad race for them. They were really nowhere. Maldonado didn't retire, yes. But Williams still have to pick up the pace. They have to make that car work. I don't know where it's gone. They had a brilliant car this time last year. And obviously they went on to win in Spain last year. So, really they're going to be scratching their heads thinking, where the hell did the pace go? And so finally, as a whole, I think this Bahrain Grand Prix is going to be a big one because there are a lot of teams that are very good there. Red Bull are good there, Ferrari are good there, Mercedes to an extent, McLaren were good there, but obviously McLaren are sort of out of the running. Lotus were good there, I actually forgot about Lotus, sorry, so let's get on to Lotus quickly. Sorry about that, I forgot about Lotus completely. So Kimi Raikkonen had a very good race in Bahrain, coming second place. He obviously didn't overtake Sebastian Vettel, didn't take the opportunity, which I think he should have. He could have got the race win, but he likes Bahrain, it seems, and that car really does suit Bahrain in the hotter conditions, just like Australia. And Romain Grosjean, well, he hasn't really shown much pace. I think he's being too cautious for his own good. I know that's weird to say that, but he is, and he's not showing his pace that he did have last year, even though he's crashing. So that's Lotus, and that's everyone, and I think it's going to be a very good race. As I said, we've got 4 really strong teams there, but I think personally Sebastian Vettel is going to get pole position and the win. I think he's going to lock out both and smash it out, just like he did last year. I think he's too strong to be caught at Bahrain. Fernando Alonso will give him a challenge for maybe the race, maybe not pole position. I think maybe Kimi Raikkonen or Lewis Hamilton have that chance to maybe attack Vettel on pole position, but I think Kimi Raikkonen will give Vettel some head scratching and maybe some anger in the car on the race, but we'll have to see. So guys, this has been my race preview of the Bahrain Grand Prix. If you liked it, comment below and let me know what you thought of it, and let me know your predictions for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Subscribe if you're new for weekly F1 content and all the race previews and reviews of this season. And whenever, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.